project? What is the current state of affairs?
So the top line of the project is that it's a collaborative artificial embryo model that is parented by a collectively trained artificial intelligence. Artificial embryo models are a new area of science that a lot of people are very excited about. What you do is you take a group of stem cells, you put them together in a clever way, and they start to behave like they are an embryo. In our project, rather than all those stem cells coming from the same person, they'll be coming from quite a lot, potentially, of different people. So you have that question of whether are they donors or are they parents?
I'm looking forward to seeing how the donors will feel about the artificial embryo model once they see it. And especially where they can't put it on as theirs. Especially if the number of donors is so big that it's not to be known if it's actually their stem cells that are growing as an artificial embryo model. At what point can we feel connected to human tissue and when can we not?
We're going to put together a consortium of stakeholders and parties whose opinions I think are interesting. So that will be a number of different community groups. It may or may not be the donors and parents. I think that's an interesting question. But also people like ethicists and lawmakers. And I'm asking them to train an AI to make ethical decisions on behalf of this artificial embryo model. When we train an AI, we have to give it the framework by which we want those decisions to be made. Those kind of decisions that are made like in ethics boards around the world at the moment are usually quite opaque in terms of the kind of structure underneath them. You often know the people who are making the decision, but you don't know whether they're saying, I don't know, I believe in Plato's form of ethics, or I believe in the greatest good for the greatest number, like whatever it might be. That is not normally something that is transparent, even potentially to the people who are making those decisions. But when we train an AI, we have to give it those frameworks, or certainly that's the way we're going to train the AI.
I think it's so interesting, this idea that you want to create a diverse and maybe disagreeing consortium that will have to create a framework or some kind of idea of what can we agree on should be the most important points in making decisions. Thereby, again, I mean, as a dreamer, confronting that this is a universal right.
One of the purposes of the project is really simply to open up discussion and debate around these nearly, not quite, maybe human entities, and to empower audiences in terms of how they think these entities should be governed.